There is a growing push right now on Governor Hochul to restore critical funding needed for child advocacy centers all across New York State, including here at home. Millions of dollars are at risk to help victims of child abuse. Today, we heard from community leaders fighting to protect our region's most vulnerable children. 6 child advocacy centers, including here in the Finger Lakes, are at risk of total funding cuts. Lawmakers, members of law enforcement, and advocates joined in Canandaigua to share their calls on the state.
$0 in funding, cutting them down to nothing. We're talking about taking away services for children who have been sexually and physically abused, who have been seriously injured, and in the most horrific cases, children whose lives have been taken.
Last year, the Office of Victim Services awarded a significant boost to these agencies. Fast forward to today, advocates are now unsure if they'll be able to keep services running as is.
On September 30th, the Office of Victim Service funding will end, funding that we have relied on for decades. On October 1st, children will still need protection. Unfortunately, child abuse is not going to end on September 30th.
If the funding isn't restored, it could result in victims waiting longer or traveling further for support. Ontario County Sheriff David Serencione reflects back to the start of his own career in public service.
I started my career 29 years ago, not as a police officer, but as a child protective caseworker in Seneca County. There was no trauma-informed approach. There were no child advocacy centers. There were no advocates. As I stand here, it makes me sick to think that of all the things that we fund in this state, that we're going to yank money away from child advocacy centers who are set up for us to bring these trauma approach in the team approach for children of sexual and physical abuse. It just cannot happen.
Lawmakers say their calls to the governor have gone unanswered. We reached out to the governor's office for a response. A spokesperson for the Office of Victim Services got back to us, saying the agency received an unprecedented response to funding applications, far exceeding the money available. The spokesperson added funding uncertainty and federal rules contributed to making, quote, difficult decisions. At this time, it's still unclear if the funding local leaders are pressing for will arrive come October.
If this funding is not restored, where will these children go? How many of these children are going to fall through the gaps that this is going to leave behind?
The state agency's full statement can be found on rochesterfirst.com.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.